Hi, I'm Paprika, and this isn't Kerbal Space Program. Ooh, or at least I'm not playing it. I thought I'd do something different, so I was just going to look at Kerbals from a sort of a biology, David Attenborough style perspective, and to sort of talk about what kind of creatures they seem to be. So, the first thing you see when you look at a Kerbal is obviously they are green. A lot of people sort of say, oh, they photosynthesize then, but, not everything that's green photosynthesizes, and not everything that photosynthesizes is green. Like tree frogs and stuff, they're green, they don't photosynthesize, that's all for camouflage. And similarly, you get like red grasses that don't use the green photosynthetic pigments. These are the ones. So yeah. So yes, I think it's more to do with camouflage, which kind of makes sense because a lot of trees about, and it's a very green planet. So they presumably come from a green habitat. The next thing, obviously, they have quite a big head. Now that in humans at least, that's sort of to do with brain size. So you'd expect them to have quite a large brain. So obviously quite clever. Because they don't seem to have any crazy sensory organs, apart from their eyes. Their eyes are a bit... They point out to the side a bit like a deer, or a cow, which suggests that they are a prey animal, because a lot of the animals on Earth with sideways facing eyes, it's for a broad range of visibility, so that they can see, they can look around for predators, and that kind of fits with the camouflage skin. So maybe they are a prey species rather than a hunter, which is quite interesting. So what else do we notice? They're bipedal like us, but the way their legs move and their whole walking, their legs kind of flop around to the side rather than ours, which go in pretty straight lines. So they possibly have different hips. So, for example, if you see lizards walking on their back legs, like monitor lizards running about, they tend to have like a sideways leg movement. So maybe they come from that kind of joint structure for the hips and legs. Maybe. I'm not saying all they're frogs or all they're lizards, because frogs and lizards and mammals and everything, they're just big groups that have evolved kind of from the same place. So from another planet or whatever, they're going to have completely different evolutionary origins, different evolutionary pressures, so they won't have birds, frogs, blah 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 blah. They'll possibly have flying things, they'll possibly have, like a prey animal, as Kerbals possibly are, or were. Maybe they originated from one. Yeah, I'm not saying, they're a fungus or whatever, because I think that's silly. Yeah, disadvantage to the eyes being a little bit goofy and off-centre. Just distance judging is pretty reduced if you do that, which is why predators have the binocular vision. It's to judge distances, so they can, jump on things and catch them and eat them. But you don't really need that if you're jumping on, a leaf or something. They're not hard to catch. Similarly, their teeth, the teeth of the Kerbal are pretty flat. Like, they don't have any pointy teeth similar to like cats or similar creatures on Earth, which suggests a plant diet again, because it's for like, sort of grinding up leaves rather than digging into meat and tearing and stuff. So yeah, I'm blaming their lack of binocular vision on my poor landing skills on the moon and things. What else? They've only got 4 fingers, but again, that doesn't really mean much. Cause they seem to have thick-ended fingers, which probably give more grip, and we don't really need our little fingers. People are fine without them. It's just a little bit of extra grip. They seem to have hair. Well, they do have hair. Which could be, well, probably the same reason we have hair, but maybe they came from hairier animals. Although that kind of conflicts with the green skin, because we don't tend to have, like, there's no point in covering up your green camouflage with brown hair completely, so maybe it was just a patchy thing. Yeah. What else? I'd love to know how they put t-shirts on. A lot of the pictures have them in shirts, to be fair, but they do, like the Kerbal one, he's wearing a t-shirt. He's probably got a stretchy neck. Yeah. The bone structure doesn't seem to be quite so defined as a person's, so possibly, they might have less rigid bones than we do. Possibly, well, this helps them not fall out of space and die, which, is a benefit. But yeah, that's, I know it's all a game and they're not real, and and there's no sort of food within the game at the moment, but yeah, I just thought I'd make a little pseudo documentary about them as creatures and where they might have come from. So to sum it all up, I think they possibly evolved from some herbivorous, maybe a herd animal, because they're quite often herd animals, the herbivores, which could lead to why there are so many of them, and possibly why they freak out when they're alone in space, because they're used to being surrounded by their brother Kerbals in a herd. Which, maybe that's why they freak out. Maybe Jeb's just weird. He's a bit of a recluse, so he loves being up in space with only Bill and Bob. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of. Although, having said that, if they're a prey animal, what's the predator? We haven't seen that yet, but it could be anything. Maybe they won't implement it. They probably won't implement it because it's not Spore. It's a space game. We want space. But yeah. Hopefully that was, I don't know, maybe that was interesting. Maybe it wasn't. I don't really know. I've just been thinking about that for a while. Thought you might be interested. Thanks for watching / listening. Cheers.